There are, as I was saying, the permanent easement is damaged at 50% value. The temporary is compensated at 20%, 10% a year.
Okay.
So, and again, I'm gonna give you copies of all of this. You can get as knee deep in this appraisal as you want to in terms of reviewing it. The property was appraised in December of 2022. I think the effective date was December 7th. The appraised value is $359,000 as it sits today. So the appraiser looks at it as in the value today, and then he looks at it, what's its value after the project is completed. So that's your before and after value.
Okay.
The after value is going to take in consideration of the easement, the permanent easement. The temporary easement doesn't have an impact on the value because you're getting that back. So the after value of the property is $348,000.
Okay.
Now that's not to say that you wouldn't still sell it for $359,000 or more if you were putting it on the market. The temporary easement is valued at $9,250. So the difference in the before and after, the $359,000 and the $348,000, coupled with the $9,250 on the temporary easement, comes out to a grand total of $20,250. So here's the offer in writing for that. And the reason that there's not a significant change in the number is, even though the access is moving, it's still, there's not a loss in parking. You're moving one to the other and so forth. So there's no significant value loss there. I mean, it could be an enhancement having the access on the side versus right out front. That's, I mean, I don't.
It might be. We haven't really evaluated
from a safety
that,
standpoint, it appears visually it is going to be an enhancement, just because of the proximity to the entrances out here. So in this appraisal will be pictures, proof of inspection, as well as statements of assumptions and conditions. A lot of this is more so just standard jargon that goes into the appraisals and the appraiser's qualifications. So the highest and best use, it'll talk about the highest and best use is no change in the use of the property, meaning there's not a restriction. I mean, it's a situation of where, I guess, having events here, you'd like to have as much parking as you possibly could.
Sure.
If we were taking parking, then we would be suffering potential loss of parking, which would be compensatory and so forth. But since there is no loss of parking, so this section gets into data analysis on local sales to determine the price per square foot that's being compensated for on the value of the property. There's actual pictures of each comparable and the sales summary that's used. Again, there's a lot of papers in here, so, and it goes through each site. Some are vacant, some are not. So any questions? This is in the appraisal also. This is again showing an aerial overlay with the yellow property lines, the green, the 3 green easements, and then the traversing of the utility easement across the top of it.
Okay.
Best use. Cost. And then this is it has the original deed, has a flood map. This specific type of appraisal. The narrative is why it has all of the in-depth zoning regulations are in the back. I'm just telling you this in case you ever wanted to know what the zoning and all that, it's all in here.
Okay.
The appraiser's qualifications are in the back. And that is then his official license and certification. So that is, in essence, a summary of that of the appraisal.
Okay.
The values being the most important components. So, any questions?
So one question that I had, and I'm looking at the stone wall that we have out here out front.
Right.
The question came up is how historic is that stone, and is there value to that was included in the appraisal? I don't know. It looks like there's no masonry involved with that. I know that there's a history here of like Irish masonry here in the state, and that may be of historic value. I was wondering if that was included in the appraisal, or is that something that needs to be considered?
Well, I don't. Have you been told that it's coming out?
I was told that they were going to have to rebuild our steps. So there's two sets of steps.
Correct.
There's the immediate step here in front of the church, and then there's one closer to the sidewalk, and where that retaining wall is located.
So is there two walls?
This, I think it's just the one out.
It shows a wall around the horse, and then a lower wall.
Yeah, you want to go out and take a look at it?
So here's the step area. So there's steps, and you can see this dashed line coming all the way across. That's the limits of construction, meaning that the construction will stop behind that line.
I do have it on video because I recorded that too. They said they were going to rebuild our steps, but
the wall around the horse and this wall is staying. The lower, what looks like the lower wall is inside. That's on existing right of way.
Yeah, I don't think that's. Is
both
that our
are
property?
really
This lower wall? I don't think it is.
And even this, according to this survey, the bulk of that wall out front is not on your property.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Did the horse used to sit long ways?
No, I think we put him back the way he was before he was broken.
Because our survey shows it, but it just shows horse. But I didn't know if maybe it went this way.
I think he was facing the road.
Okay, let's take a step out.
Yeah, let's go out and look. Yeah. Yeah, so there are two walls here, I guess, but so I'm guessing that this one is not part of our property and this one is, according to that map.
According to the plan, neither are really on your property.
So our property lies just behind this wall?
Based on the survey, the property lies behind that sign.
Okay.
The base of that tree as the right of way.
Okay. Oh, for the right of way.
Stone mason marking here.
So what does that mean?
I guess just whoever built this
J.W. Douglas Stonemason.
Put their name on it. But in terms of a value, no, there's not a value allocated in the appraisal.
Okay.
But we do not show impacting any of this.
Okay.
Strictly the steps.
Okay.
And it appears that the new steps would be from just about behind this sign here down.
I see.
To the new sidewalk.
Okay. So we don't think there was anything missed in the appraisal then, as far as
I can certainly ask, but there's no indication that it could have been years ago that there was an acquisition that took the right of way back and encompassed this. You know, there's documentations of right of way from years ago is a very convoluted process.
Okay.
To get, to understand depending on how it was documented today.
I see.
To be able to understand that and interpret it and figure out who may or may not actually own it. But it does appear that this, and I can verify, it says do not disturb the sign. It does not say do not disturb the wall.
Okay.
But based on the construction limits, they're in front of the wall, this wall.
Okay.
They turn and come up to here
Okay.
to be able to construct these steps.
Okay.
Is there someone wanting the stone? Or?
No, that was just a question that came up. Is that of significant value?
Right.
You know, and it doesn't even belong to us. I guess now is the question. So
Well,
apparently not.
Based on the city's plans, it does not.
Okay.
Looks like a portion of it, probably, I don't know, 5 feet of it over here is on the property. It appears as though the right-of-way line is literally running right about the front leg of the horse.
Okay. So he very well could get moved.
Well, I mean, based on the plans, they wouldn't necessarily affect where it's at.
Okay.
But again, that's going to be the contractors. So did you have to get a new one?
No. The damage was minimal.
Okay.
Believe it or not. His ear was broken off, but the way that they mounted him the first time, they had rebarb going off the hoof straight down.
Okay.
And it actually broke the rebarb below the hoofs. And we probably didn't install them the way we should have, and that probably saved the horse.
Wow.
And the original artist found out about the damage and volunteered to repair him.
Okay.
And we took him over to his house off of Iroquois Park, and he repaired the damage. And then we took him out to one of our members' house. He has a farm up in Indiana, and he put the clear coat on him. And then we just reinstalled him this weekend.
Wow.
So we got really lucky.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, any questions related to the new access point?
Not at this time.
Okay.
I'll run this by my president.
Pretty much in the middle. It's exactly where it's lined up.
In the middle of the parking lot, you
Yes.
think? Okay.
That way you would be able to pull in and then park this way or this way.
Oh, I see what you're saying, the entrance.
Yeah,
Okay.
It comes in the middle of your parking lot.
Okay.
So that gives you the ability to park
Yeah.
either way.
Yeah. I think that'll be workable. Yeah, because right now, if you come out of here
Yeah.
at rush hour, it's hard to turn left, and
Right.
there's until they get this widened anyway, it's just a line of traffic going all the way down to Watterson Trail.
Right.
I'm here
Well,
quite often this
and
time of day.
your maneuvering is probably going to be easier that way. Getting people in and out of the lot.
Yeah.
I think maybe a little bit safer.
Okay. So what was the total compensation? 20,000.
Look, 20,250.
Okay.
Double check that. Oh, lock this out.
Oh, sorry. Didn't think.
Yes, total offers 20,250.
Okay. And what are the next steps?
So the next steps would be share this information with authorities, the people in authority here. This is a copy of the appraisal.
Okay.
This is a copy of the memorandum of understanding. This specifically says that access is provided by the department's permits. Not any access not on the plans is not going to be built. We're not acquiring any improvements. It's a permanent easement at an amount of 1,045 square feet, temporary easement at 2,448, total compensation. I'm gonna give you this to keep. The back page spells out the ownership, the amount of the check. We would need a tax ID number and the name of whomever is going to sign the documents. We would also require a corporate resolution for the organization, which we would provide. We would just need the names of, so this would be that there was a board meeting and that the board nominated someone to sign on their behalf. And so we would need to plug in the names. We would provide this. This is a legal description for the permanent easement and the 3 temporary easements. This is also in duplicate over on the deed of easement. One thing that's key here is this first description on the deed of easement is for the utility easement. And it specifically talks about that it being for use of utilities. The temporary easements are the next ones to follow. And at the end of each one of those, it says it is specific intentions of the grantors herein to convey a temporary easement to the property described above. The purpose for roadway construction, said easement terminates and reverts upon completion of same. So once the project is complete, there's no access to those temporary easements at all. Again, we would plug in the names from the resolutions and execute on the back. This is a copy of a property owner's opinion survey. You're more than welcome to complete this. This is how you feel about how I handled the situation. It's postage paid envelope. You'd mail that back into the state upon completion.
Okay.
So next steps, you'll look it over, digest it. If you're good with it, then we would modify the documents with the proper names and get it signed.
Okay.
Typically, we say 4 to 8 weeks for payment. This being a city project, it may happen a little bit faster. Now, there is the opportunity for you all to donate to the city if you so chose. That's a personal decision. I think the city has expressed that in some meetings or maybe one-on-one with certain property owners. If y'all chose to do that, that's totally up to you. You tell me, and then we no longer have compensatory documents, we have donation documents.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
Okay. So I believe our memory serves me correctly. Our next board meeting is on April 27th.
okay,
And
perfect.
so we will have a discussion about that. I'll discuss this with my president and immediate
Right.
past president before the meeting so that they're well versed on
Sure.
this discussion before we go into that board
And,
meeting.
and if there's any questions between now and then, feel free to reach out. And
Great.
I will do my best to get you answers to those.
Great.
So,
Awesome.
that's it.
Yeah, well, great.
All right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
And
it.
all of this is yours.
Okay.
The plans, you have everything that I have. And I don't, some people are like, oh, you should prepackage that folder. I'm like, no, that way you know I'm not hiding anything.
Yeah.
'Cause whatever I take out,
Yeah.
there's, I guess there's been people